Students, welcome to the chemistry class number 108. So in the previous class, we have come across with lambda naught, molar conductivity, limiting molar conductivity. Molar conductivity is nothing but the conductivity produced by all the ions present in the solution which contains 1 mole of an electrolyte, lambda n. Lambda naught is nothing but the limiting molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity. So this limiting molar conductivity is nothing but the lambda naught n. Lambda naught. That is molar conductivity at infinite dilution. At infinite dilution. So that means you see. So that is molar conductivity at infinite dilution is called the limiting molar conductivity. That means when the dilution is increases to large extent. So large extent, that is at infinite dilution. So then lambda naught value comes to least. That least value is called the limiting molar conductivity. It is the conductivity of electrolyte at infinite dilution. Therefore, limiting molar conductivity is nothing but the molar conductivity at infinite dilution, and it is denoted by the lambda naught. So next, we have already discussed one relation between lambda naught and lambda m and the concentration of the electrolyte. That is lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus a into root c. It is lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus a into root c. We have already discussed. And actually, lambda is nothing but molar conductivity. Lambda naught m is limiting molar conductivity. A is a constant for a given electrolyte, and C is equal to, that is concentration of the electrolyte we are going to take for this purpose. And this limiting molar conductivity, so this lambda naught m is called limiting molar conductivity. And on this basis, and we are also that is having one graph, you see, by taking lambda n against root c for weak electrolytes as well as strong electrolytes. For strong electrolytes, we are going to make a straight line like this, you see, for strong electrolytes. When this straight line is that is increased or extra parting towards lambda naught m, you see, zero concentration, you will getting lambda naught m value. That means lambda naught m value can be obtained for strong electrolytes by extra parting the straight line down to zero concentration. Then we will be getting lambda naught m for the strong electrolytes. But for weak electrolytes, we are getting a that is a curve for weak electrolytes. We are not getting any straight line. So therefore, even if you that is increase the that is extra parting, we are not getting any zero, that is lambda naught m for weak electrolytes by using graphical mechanism. We already known that and we have studied in the last class. So after that, you see now. So these are the important concepts to be remembered for Pohlrad's law of independent migration of ions. Independent migration of ions. So we know that, we see, for example, if you take a solution, electrolyte solution contains positive ions as well as negative ions, cations and anions. Cations as well as what? Anions. Electrolyte solution contains cations as well as ions, that is positively charged ions and negatively charged ions. Electrolyte solution. So, but at infinite dilution, if you add more and more water to this electrolyte solution, the electrolyte solution becomes very dilute, and therefore the electrostatic force of attraction between the positively charged ions, cations and anions decreases. So that is at infinite dilution, the electrostatic force of attraction between the ions will be negligible. That means electrostatic force of attraction between the ions will be negligible at higher dilutions of electrolyte solution. Even under this condition, it is possible to calculate lambda naught. Even for there is a higher dilution solution of electrolyte at infinite dilution also, it is possible to calculate the lambda naught, that is the limiting molar conductivity. So that means limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution can be calculated by using the formula lambda naught m is equal to lambda naught plus lambda naught minus. That means even at larger dilution solutions also, the total conductivity of is given by total conductivity of the solution is given by the contributions of that means it is the total conductivity of the infinite dilution electrolyte solution is given by the combination of both cations and anions. That means you see the contribution of cations and anions, that is together, let us say, that is nothing but Kohlrausch values. So that is this is mathematical expression for Kohlrausch. That is limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilution is equal to the sum of the limiting molar conductivities of cations and limiting molar conductivities of anions in infinite dilution. That is limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilution. Molar conductivity of electrolyte at infinite dilution is equal to the sum of the conductivities of cations and conductivities of anions. That is molar conductivity at infinite dilution for cations and what? Anions. That is each ion contributes its conductivity to the total. That means total conductivity of electrolyte solution can be obtained by the contribution of the conductivities of cations as well as conductivity of anions. That is called the Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ion. Independently, they are that is producing, they are giving, they are contributing the conductivity to the that is total conductivity. That means you see molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution is equal to the sum of the contributions of that is cations and anions in the electrolyte solution. Because you see in the infinite, there is electrolyte solution having infinite dilution, there is no electrostatic force of attraction between the ions will be negligible. So therefore you see each ion will contribute to the total conductivity. Okay, that is called the Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ions. So that means what is the statement of Kohlrausch law? So that means this law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte or molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution, both are the same, is equal to the sum of the contributions of the cations as well as anions. That means it is equal to the sum of the contributions of the molar conductivities of cations as well as anions in the electrolyte solution. So after that, what are the applications of Kohlrausch law? What are the applications? What are the uses of Kohlrausch law? So first application is by the Kohlrausch law, it is possible to calculate lambda naught by direct method. By directly we can calculate the lambda naught. If you know the lambda naught plus values and lambda naught minus values, that means by the Kohlrausch law it is possible to calculate the lambda naught values of weak, that is strong electrolytes directly. What is that? For example, lambda naught m is equal to lambda naught plus lambda naught minus. So that is the equation is there itself, you see. So therefore, let me take lambda naught, calculate the that is lambda naught m of NaCl. So for this we know that you see lambda naught m of NaCl or lambda naught of NaCl is equal to lambda naught of Na plus lambda naught of what? Cl. If you you know the values of Na plus and Cl minus, we can directly calculate the lambda naught of NaCl. For example, you see for sodium, we know that you see for Na plus 50.1. So lambda naught of Na plus is 50.1, and that of Cl minus is 76.3. 76.3. So you can add this. You see 50.1 and 76.1. You give me 4, 6. So 126.4 Simon centimeter square per mole. So that is a lambda naught m of NaCl. So directly we can calculate the lambda naught values for strong electrolytes generally. And for example, for acetic acid, you see for acetic acid, how do you write this acetic acid formula? So that is lambda naught of acetic acid. CH3CO, lambda naught m of acetic acid, that is CH3COOH. So is equal to lambda naught of CH3COO minus plus, or you can write H plus first, lambda naught of H plus lambda naught of CH3COO. Okay. So if you add the H plus value and CH3COO value, you will be getting. So generally H plus value is 349.6. 349.6, and that of acetate ion is 40.7. 40.7. So if you add this, 7 plus 6 is 13.1. 1 plus 9 is 10. 0. And 349.6. 40.7. That is 13. 10. 1. 9. 390.3 you see, 390, that is 390.3. So this is Simon centimeter square. So this is how we can calculate that is lambda naught values for strong electrolytes directly. That means first application is it is possible to calculate the lambda naught values for strong electrolytes directly by using this formula. Okay, then. So next, second application. So second application is, so that is generally the lambda naught values for weak electrolytes cannot be calculated directly for weak electrolytes. That means delta naught values for weak electrolytes cannot be calculated directly, because you see the direct method. So for strong electrolytes only we are having a straight line is obtained. If it is extra plotted, we will be getting to zero concentration, we will be getting lambda naught, we will be getting the value. But for weak electrolytes, for by the graphical method, we are getting a curve you see. So therefore, it is not possible to extra plot the curve to the zero concentration. Therefore, it is not possible to calculate the lambda naught m for weak electrolytes. For this reason, we are going indirect method. Indirect method for weak electrolytes. For acetic acid, of course, is for acetic acid like this. So in the indirect method, for example, calculate the that is lambda naught m of acetic acid. Acetic acid given. So that means that is lambda naught of CH3COONA, and lambda naught of HCl, and knowing lambda naught of NaCl. By knowing all these values, we can calculate the lambda naught of acetic acid. How actually you see that is lambda naught m of acetic acid CH3COOH is equal to lambda naught m of CH3COONA plus lambda naught of HCl minus lambda naught of NaCl. If you write, we will get the same list. How it will be? Let me take this one. You see. So this is plus. So here CH3CO minus, and this is Na plus. You see. This is H plus and Cl minus. This is Na plus and Cl minus. We know that you see this is lambda naught of CH3CO minus plus Na plus is here only actually, and it is Cl minus, this is plus. So therefore this is Na plus, sorry, this is minus actually. So this is Na plus this is plus Na plus minus Na plus, cancel this. And then here plus Cl minus Cl plus minus cancel. Remaining is lambda naught of CH3CO minus plus this lambda naught of. So here we know that the values of CH3CO minus and H plus you see CH3CO minus is nothing but 40.7 and H plus value we know that it is 349.6. So it is 390.3, you see 390.3 we are going to take. That is psi 1 centimeter square per. That is how you can calculate the lambda naught values for weak electrolytes also by indirect method. This is second application. That means first application it is possible to calculate the lambda naught values for strong electrolytes directly, because we are going to get the that is if you draw that is a graph by taking lambda m against root c, you will get a straight line. When it is extra planted to zero concentration, you will get lambda naught m. But for weak electrolyte it is not possible to calculate the that is lambda naught m directly, because we are getting curve. If you plot a graph of lambda m against root c, you will be getting a curve for which it is not possible to extra plot to zero concentration, and it is not possible to calculate lambda naught m for weak electrolyte. So that we are getting indirect method. That is the second application. Indirect method for weak electrolytes. Calculate the lambda naught of CH3CO. Given CH3CO area lambda by knowing lambda naught of HCl, lambda naught of NaCl. So you will be getting same. So this is how we can calculate the lambda naught for weak electrolytes. Indirect method for weak electrolytes, lambda naught. Calculation of lambda naught by indirect method for weak electrolytes, lambda naught can be calculated. Okay. So this is the second application. Third application. What is third application? So third application is by using the Kohlrausch law, it is possible to calculate the degree of dissociation. What is degree of dissociation? Degree of dissociation is nothing but that is alpha. You see, alpha. Degree of dissociation is alpha. Is equal to alpha. Here we see degree of dissociation is nothing but it is the fraction of the total amount of the electrolyte that dissociates at equilibrium at a given temperature. So here alpha is nothing but you see alpha is equal to that is lambda m divided by lambda naught. Alpha can be calculated by using the equation. Degree of dissociation can be calculated by equation lambda m divided by what? Lambda naught. By knowing this alpha, we can calculate the that is K also, dissociative constant of weak acid. Dissociative constant of weak acid K is equal to alpha squared C divided by 1 minus alpha. Alpha squared C divided by what? 1 minus alpha. And after that is by using alpha K, you see, it is possible. That means you see, if you substitute this alpha, you will get K value. Okay, alpha is equal to lambda m divided by lambda naught. If you substitute, you will get alpha squared C divided by 1 minus alpha. Instead of alpha, you have to substitute alpha f divided by alpha naught m. So that means you see, for this we have to calculate that is K also. Why? Because alpha squared C divided by 1 minus alpha. So that is we know that we see that is K is equal to that is lambda m. We want this lambda m here. You see lambda m. So this lambda m is equal to lambda m, that is the molar conductivity, is equal to 1000 into K divided by C, that is psi 1 centimeter square per mole. So this is the lambda m. By knowing this lambda m, you see, you can calculate that is lambda naught m, and if you substitute alpha here. For this, you have to take weak electrolyte solution in a beaker. In a beaker, you have to take weak electrolyte solution, and in that you have to put a conductivity solution. So this is weak electrolyte solution. conductivity cell is placed. Okay, and after that you see you can measure the Kohlraasch law by using Kohlraasch law bridge method. You can measure R resistance or resistivity of the solution, because resistivity is the reciprocal of conductivity. You know that. Therefore, R is directly proportional to L and L is proportional to A. R is equal to rho into L by A. You know that. But what is rho? But rho is equal to 1 by K. So therefore, R is equal to 1 by K into L by A. Or K is equal to 1 by R into L by A. So this is how you can calculate K. If you know the K, you can calculate lambda like that. Okay. So that means the given weak electrolyte solution is taken in a beaker, in which we are going to put a small conductivity cell of our choice, and R can be calculated. R can be obtained by Kohlraasch law bridge method, so that we know that you see R is directly proportional to A and inversely proportional to A. But that is R is equal to rho into L by A. What is rho? Inversely proportional to, that is conductivity. Rho is equal to 1 by K. So therefore, R is equal to 1 by K into L by A, or K is equal to 1 by R into L by A. But if you know the K, you can calculate lambda. Lambda is 1000 into K divided by C. By knowing the concentration of the solution, you can calculate lambda. If you calculate lambda, you can calculate what? Lambda also. Infinite. So therefore, that is how you can calculate the that is lambda. That is lambda naught m. Lambda m, and then K and alpha. We know that alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda naught m. K is equal to alpha squared C divided by 1 minus alpha. That is how K is equal. And if you substitute this value here, you see K is equal to, so that is lambda m divided by lambda naught m whole squared into C divided by 1 minus alpha is nothing but what? Lambda m divided by lambda naught m. Okay, so that will be equal to lambda square m into C divided by lambda square m, lambda naught square m into lambda naught m minus lambda divided by lambda naught m. Okay, so that you can that is cancel this one time, and you will be getting lambda square m into C divided by lambda naught m into lambda naught m minus lambda. So this is the equation we are going to get. This for dissociation constant. So that means by using Kohlraasch law, it is possible to calculate degree of dissociation alpha and also dissociation constant of weak acid Ka also. Okay, and by using this equation, lambda is 1000 K divided by C. So K can be calculated by this. So just take the electrolyte solution in a beaker, put a conductivity cell, R can be calculated. By using this equation, you can calculate K. If once K is calculated, lambda is 1000 K divided by C, simultaneously. And finally, alpha is equal to lambda divided by lambda naught m, and K is equal to alpha squared minus alpha. If you substitute, you will get this alpha squared into m into C divided by lambda naught m into lambda naught m minus lambda. So this is the equation. Okay. So these are the important applications of Kohlraasch law. So finally, I explain Kohlraasch law. So what is the statement of Kohlraasch law? Kohlraasch law state that the limiting molar conductivity, that is lambda m, lambda naught m, sorry, limiting molar conductivity lambda m is for that is infinite dilution. The molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution is equal to the sum of the molar conductivities of cations and anions in the electrolyte solution. This is the equation for Kohlraasch law. Lambda naught m is equal to lambda naught m, lambda naught plus lambda naught minus. So that is limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte or molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution is equal to the sum of the limiting molar conductivities of cations plus limiting molar conductivities of anions in the electrolyte solution. So, meeting the next.